Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nux, and today we are going to be talking about E3. I just got out of the Xbox One press conference, and yeah. So the press conference overall was pretty good. They didn't talk about the things that we wanted them to talk about, but let's face it, I really didn't expect anyone to um, actually bring any of the used game stuff or the lending stuff up. And that's mainly because I don't think they have those systems down yet. I think, as a couple people have mentioned, that they're basically just making this shit up as they go. Uh, Publishers are pushing them to, enact these different types of restrictions so that the publishers can have more options and retain more of the money from that they're losing from used games. Um, but yeah, I didn't expect them to bring any of that stuff up. What this press conference was for is to reassure hardcore gamers that Microsoft was 100% making a system that was for them and all this TV stuff, uh, but more or less, had those core games that were going to be fun and that you wanted to see and play. And they definitely did show that. We had several games. We started with the new Metal Gear Solid, Phantom Pain, MGS5, which I guess is a free roaming open world game. I'm not quite sure what that game's about. I I haven't been one to actually play any of the MGS games, so I'm a little bit on the rails trying to figure out what that game's all about. But it looks like it's kind of like a Red Dead Redemption MGS style. It's kind of cool. I might actually be interested in playing this one. It didn't appear that a lot of the games were saying these are exclusive, but they're really not. It's the same mess we had when the 360 and the 720 were being announced, or the 360 and the PS3 were being announced. Ugh. Excuse me, it was very musty in there. Ugh. Um, but yeah, so we started with that. They went into Forza stuff. They showed some new things like Spark, which look kind of cool, but I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be getting into. Let's see if I can pull up the computer that we're recording this on, and let's see. They showed a trailer for Dark Souls 2 that still looks amazing. They didn't show any Call of Duty, which really surprised me. I figured they were going to go 100% double down on the Call of Duty, and we're going to be showing that as their um, mainstay of how this is the system you want because you're going to get exclusive maps and all this other crap. Um, but yeah, so they showed a lot of smart glass stuff, um, but the problem was is that all of the smart glass stuff and all of the Kinect stuff that they showed was not in real time. They were showing. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I don't see it. I forget what game it was, but they were showing. They were showing this game where you can basically just make a world, and the guy was like, "Hey, how about a forest?" And before he said forest, it swapped the forest, and so you could quite clearly see that um, the demos were not in real time. The only demo that actually looked like it was real time was the Battlefield 4 demo. And I guess I was one of a couple people who actually noticed that up in the upper right there was the battle log, which you would expect to be in an EA Battlefield game, but it was showing the backspace key on the keyboard, which is a little bit disheartening. So I expect weird things like that to happen with the PS4 as well. But it was a little bit weird to see them saying this is running on Xbox One in real time, and then there's a fucking backspace key. It's like, come on, guys. There were also plenty of technical failures. Honestly, compared to the Xbox 360 unveiling, this was a great conference because I want to say the 360 unveiling had about 12 or 13 technical issues. This only had like 2 or 3. I will say there was one part that really pissed me off when they were showing the guys from Panzer Dragoon showing off Crimson Dragon, and there was one speaker that had sound pumping through it, and so people were booing that they couldn't hear the sound, and I wanted to just yell out at the people booing. It's like, have some fucking class. I'm sorry. Technical problems happen. But that doesn't give you, that doesn't give you the right to start booing. There were plenty of things about this conference to complain about, including games looking very muddy, textures just not, being up to par. There was so much more that you could complain about this conference, and yet people were booing because there was no sound. I'm sorry, what? Yeah. They did show Batman, a little bit of Batman Arkham Origins. They showed Rise, which is the next game from Crytek, which I'm not sure about that game yet. That game looks like it has so much potential, and it also looks like it has so much to lose. Because that game, everything they showed was quick time events or, very scripted, button presses. And I'm sorry, I don't want any more of those games. Plus, then they had the typical, if you're gonna have that was clearly a pre-rendered gameplay trailer. Nobody was actually playing that. You could quite literally tell because the guy on stage was literally just kind of jittering his hands, even though nothing was really happening on screen, which is kind of the traditional, oh, I'm faking playing a video game, blah blah blah. But yeah, if you're gonna make a pre-rendered video like that and then pretend that it's gameplay, make sure everything looks good. There was one of the final scenes is that you're in a battle against 5 people, and Assassin's Creed style, you start to counter every single one of them. But the last guy you kill, you stab your sword through the back of his neck. And I was looking at it, and I was like, the skin's not tearing, there's no blood. No, the sword's just going straight through, straight out. That's it. It was clearly they haven't mapped the clipping yet. They haven't done anything for collision detection at all. It's just, hey, this is going to clip right through you, kill you, and then clip right back out. So I did have a bit of an issue with that. Quantum Break looks like a lot of fun. They can, if they do that the Alan Wake style, that, the way that they made Alan Wake, that would be really cool. That game is basically you are a detective, I guess, of sorts, and you have been put in this position where time and space are having rifts, and like you can change reality, you can save people. They showed an explosion that looked like the end of Half-Life 2, and where he came up and basically grabbed a woman out of the explosion, healed her arm, and then right as the time-space continuum was about to continue, because he's in frozen time, then he pulled the girl out. That looked really cool. If they can definitely do that game right, they can definitely do that game wrong. The Witcher showed that they were going to definitely be on Xbox One, which I think's a good thing. I think CD Red um, definitely needs to keep doing their console thing. A lot of people love that The Witcher 2 came to console, and so it's nice to see Witcher 3, they're still making it primarily for PC, but if you don't have a PC that's going to be able to handle, these crazy out of world graphics, like they're accustomed to making, you'll also be able to get an Xbox One and look at um, buying the game and being able to play it. And Witcher 2 was it was very stable on the Xbox 360. So you didn't have any of these problems with frame lag or them trying to do too much with the system that they were on. So I expect them to be very careful in making the Xbox One version of that. Minecraft apparently is coming to Xbox One, and apparently people really took my comment to heart on Twitter. I'm sorry, but there's a certain point when you're just releasing the game on a new system just to cash in on it. And so I made the comment on Twitter. It was kind of childish, but I'm not going to take it back. That basically Notch was sucking Microsoft's cock, and it's kind of true. I'm sorry. You're telling me that I'm not going to be able to play the Xbox 360 version of Minecraft on Xbox One, yet you're going to re-release the game on Xbox One as the Xbox One version. That seems really, really low. And so they announced Dead Rising 3, which was kind of the worst kept secret in the world. You're not going to be stuck in a shopping mall, so there's that. But it's the driving in that game looks really good. Once again, that looked like it was running on a PC, so we'll have to see how the Xbox One actually handles that. But the zombie or infected density of that of when he was driving through the zombies was actually really good. And they showed that even if you are driving through zombies, you have the chance of, being attacked by a zombie, where they kind of like jump in the driver's window and start biting you. Which, of course, is another QTE, but, it's nice. If QTEs are not the end all, be all, end all of, evil in the gaming industry, if they are used properly, they are really cool. QTEs are a mechanic that, when used, to enhance your gameplay, they are actually 100% excellent. But unfortunately, we have games like Battlefield, Call of Duty, God of War, tons of different games that just use them way too much. And they base their game around QTEs, and unfortunately, after you mash a certain button so many times, you get tired. And so, games I didn't see there that I really wanted to see on the Xbox One, Beyond Two Souls, I think, is supposed to be coming to Xbox One. Maybe that's a PS4 exclusive. I'm not sure. I haven't heard much about it since the Sony reveal. Let's see if we've got... Go and refresh this page. They showed Halo 2, or no, Halo 5. Yeah, they showed Halo 2 at the Xbox One press conference. Yeah, no. They showed Halo. It's just called the next gen Halo game, but let's face it, it's going to be fucking Halo 5. They showed it like it was Journey 2, and everybody got pumped about it and got a little too hyped. Yeah, even Total Biscuit on Twitter I saw was like, I don't know what this is, but I really want it. I was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, Total Biscuit's pumped about a Halo game. Not! But yeah, so they showed that. Let's see. They showed Below, which is quite possibly the lowest resolution game that's going to be on the Xbox One. Literally, it's, if you've seen Gunpoint, they take that field of view to like an extreme. Like everything in the game, your character is that small, but you can see the entire world. It's really weird. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Let's see, they showed that Killer Instinct is going to be on the Xbox One. They also showed that you're going to be able to play Killer Instinct with Smart Glass if you want to, which was a really weird way of showing that off, because they brought this woman out who is using Smart Glass, and then they brought this guy, one of the guys out who's making the game, and he was using a fighting stick. And they're trying to show off Smart Glass and how great it is, but all she's up there doing on stage is just sitting there and bitching about having to use Smart Glass to play this game. That wasn't very well thought of. They then announced that there's going to be an editing suite, which I'm pretty sure PS4 is going to have it too, but Microsoft's going to have this editing suite that's built into the system, so you can just say record or show off or whatever, and Kinect's going to be like, okay, I'm going to bring up the editing suite. And apparently it records like the last 5 minutes or whatever of your gameplay, and you can edit it, and then you can upload to various different services. You can also, surprise, surprise, broadcast to Twitch TV, which I think this is the one thing Xbox One definitely has above the PS4. Twitch.tv is going to be a much better service to use than Ustream, I believe. So we'll see, but in my experience, I love using Twitch.tv. Even though their service goes up and down every now and then, they seem to be the way more reliable host to use in terms of trying to actually broadcast your gameplay. Also, they announced a release window, which is going to be November, which I think most of us figured that would be around. So I think it's... Let's bring up the calendar on this PC real quick. I gotta cut this short and get over to the EA press conference. So we're looking at... I think it's probably going to be November 22nd. But a lot... Or not 22nd. I think it's going to be 19th or 26th. A lot of people have said that they believe that it's going to be November 5th or 12th because they want to get those systems out for Black Friday, and to then, you know, have some crazy Black Friday deal. I don't think they're even interested in doing that, to be honest. If they did, let's face it, I mean, people, these things, depending on the availability of them, are probably going to be completely out of stock at launch. I don't think we're going to have many opportunities to actually buy these systems until probably February, March 2014. All the systems will probably be out for pre-order, and then we'll probably have like 5 or 6 systems per store for most retail chains, with GameStop probably getting about 20 or 30 per store, and those will probably sell out pretty fast. I don't see there being a steady supply for any Black Friday sales, as it were, but we will definitely see on that. They also announced the price, which I did not expect them to do. So it's going to be $4.99 US dollars. It's also going to be 4.99 euros. So if you're in Europe, you are getting fucked. It's also going to be 4.29 quid if you are in UK. So you're not getting quite as fucked, but you are getting fucked. Let's bring up the currency conversion right now. And let's see, so if we do 4.29 So you, right now, you're paying the very evil number of $666.07 USD if you buy this system in the British Isles. So you're still getting fucked. I think this is something that Microsoft and Sony are both going to have to figure out. Now, they didn't announce a price for Japan, but I imagine that for both the Xbox One and the PS4, Japan's probably going to be paying around $700 to $800 USD equivalents. So we'll see. Usually they pay way more than everybody else. And then Australia, when they finally get the systems in 2017, they'll probably be paying about $4,000 for them. Yeah. The people in Australia wish I were kidding. But yeah. So I expect probably, at least initially, there will be a lot of importing these systems to try to get them as cheap as possible, even though they'll be NTSC probably encoded. But a lot of people have bought NTSC TVs to import just specifically because systems are cheaper in the NTSC regions. So we'll see. It should be interesting. I expect that the PS4 will probably be $450 without the camera and $499 with the camera. They may have like an ultimate bundle where it's like $799 for, a camera, the system, 2 controllers, a year of PlayStation plus Watch Dogs or something like that. Which, if that's the case, I'm totally buying that. That's everything I want. I'm not sure if that's actually a good deal or not, but we'll see. They didn't announce anything about controllers or anything like that, so we'll definitely see about that. I don't know. I think $499 is probably a good price, so we'll definitely see. So my schedule for recording, if any of the other press conferences other than Sony are actually worth talking about, I definitely will be recording in between conferences as I can. Probably have to wait until after the Ubisoft conference to talk about EA if there's anything to talk about there. And then right now I've got EA, Ubisoft. I've got a few others. But yeah, so we'll definitely see. Can't guarantee that I'm always going to have access to this computer. There are other people who are going to be recording stuff or editing video and stuff like that. And I'm definitely here to serve them for the job that I'm doing. So, yeah. Anyways, my name has been Nux, and I will see you guys next time.